So I'm back in the cabin. Wi-Fi sorted, a little bit chilly, but hopefully here to stay and here for the next couple of online events, which I'll mention at the end. So I found myself thinking once again about objects and awareness, that relationship between objects and awareness. And I look back and I saw that I've been talking about this, well, on at least a couple of occasions in the last few months. How we need to stay with the awareness. Don't go to the object, don't get lost in the object, in the experiences. And it's such a habit. There's a very, very strong pull to go to the objects of experience because our limited understanding, without wisdom being strong in the mind, we think it's the experiences, the objects that are either going to make us happy or that we have to change in some way to be happy, to be not suffering. So our relationship is all about, what do I do with these objects, and are they the right objects? Are they the right experiences? And in practice, we can find that attitude, which is so strong, comes in various ways. Habitually sort of dealing with objects instead of being aware. And that's true whether they're pleasant or unpleasant. We can just as easily get wrapped up in pleasant experiences and the sense of wanting to really relish them or prolong them as we do with the unpleasant ones. So one of the ways that we can do this in practice, which is quite close to being aware in some ways, because we're using right view, we're using some dharmic content, and Sayadaw U Tejaniya gives the example of a student telling them about how they're experiencing jealousy. So quite a strong mental state to be experiencing, very unpleasant in my experience. And jealousy, or the comparing mind. And she says, instead of using awareness, I thought about karma. I thought about, I used right thought to remind myself that we're all different. We all have different strengths and different weaknesses. And U Tejaniya said, well, that's okay as far as it goes, but it's not. You're not using awareness. You're using thinking, using the thinking mind, the conceptualizing mind. So that sort of thinking, a right view type thinking, can help calm the mind down. But really, it's focusing on the object, the jealousy as the object, rather than, in a way, letting the object do what it will, and just be with the awareness and see, how is the awareness relating to this particular object? And that's quite hard to do, as many of you will know, when the object is a particularly unpleasant one or painful experience to be with. There is that tendency to want to change it in some way. But ideally, we want to use awareness to calm down the mind in order to watch, just calm enough to watch. And that doesn't need to be very calm. In fact, just the watching mind, the observing mind is what we need to work on to be calm. So it doesn't involve changing the experiences, changing the objects. And that's the way to strengthen awareness, if you like. We can shift the emphasis. Rather than looking to calm objects of experience, we want to shift to strengthening awareness. How do we strengthen awareness? That needs to be the question in the mind, rather than how do I have more of this experience or make it go away. So you could bear that in mind. How do I strengthen awareness with this particular experience in the mind, or these changing experiences in the mind? And when awareness is strengthened, wisdom comes along with it when the right sort of awareness is strengthened. And then there's the possibility of really understanding the nature of the mind. So rather just in that moment, just changing and experiencing the mind, we come to understand something in a more significant kind of way, and a more ongoing kind of way when we've had that understanding. So in practice, when we rest back and recognize awareness, that the object is arising in awareness, notice how that is, what that experience is like when you're aware that the objects are happening within awareness. Awareness is present. When the experiences are not the whole thing, but they're framed within awareness. The experiences are not taking over the whole of the mind, but there's a sense of that awareness knowing what happens. And just really sort of leaning back into that sense of awareness knowing what's happening. And this is one of the key ways to strengthen awareness, and allows both awareness and wisdom to work in the mind. And that strengthening of awareness will have its effect on the experiences that are happening. It's a secondary effect, if you like, but it will have an effect on bringing positive qualities into the mind. And when we increase the positive qualities, the more difficult or unskillful qualities decrease in the mind. So that's what we're looking to do, to be less caught by the objects of experience, and to less pulled around by them, because awareness is stronger, because awareness is able to hold whatever is happening within it, the mind. We're also increasing this sense of, rather than being personally involved with the experiences, we increase the capacity for the mind to have this more impersonal watching, this wise involvement with experiences, rather than getting sort of either panicked by the experiences, or just invoking a lot of greed towards what's happening. Or not being that bothered. Of course, indifference is the other response to what's happening. We just don't really engage. So that's all to say today, and I'll lead in with this topic in mind. So if you'd like to set yourselves up to sit.